Okay, so I want to thank everyone for being here. I do understand that there has been a situation occurring that you guys wanted to talk about today. So I'm going to begin with Laura, and then we're going to move on to Des, and then as well as Adriana. Is that okay with everybody? Yeah?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So, Laura, whenever you're ready, you can go ahead and begin sharing your side of the situation.
Well, I'm basically home with the kids all day, and I don't feel like I've really been doing much. Like, I've been doing a lot, but I feel like not to be like independent. It's kind of more like I feel like I'm doing things almost like that I'm forced to do things, like taking care of the kids, making food, just being at home all day. Like, I don't really feel like I'm getting like my independence and stuff.
Okay.
So I had been talking to my husband, Des, and he doesn't really agree with me like going back to school because just being here, like, I don't know, I feel like I'm not really doing much. And then I mentioned to him that it was just the thought of me like going back to school because I had been in school before. And he just kind of like refused it. Like he kind of, just it was almost like shocking to him that I would even bring that up. And he's kind of just, I guess, more comfortable with me just being at home and just almost doing everything and doing nothing all day.
So what I'm hearing you say is that you've been feeling drained and with all the housework, including being a mother, and it feels like you want to do more than simply just be home, and that's why you suggested to your husband to go back to school. Does that
Yeah, like I want to do something for myself. I just don't want to be here all day. Like I said, it feels like I'm doing everything and I'm doing nothing because it's like, okay, like where is it going to get me? Like being here all day with the kids, like cooking, cleaning, like where is that going to get me to? Like no education, like I want to feel like I have like some sort of like, I don't know, just not power, but I guess just to feel a little more independent and like to feel that if something happens, like I'm okay, like being on my own.
so? So I just want to let you know, it's very common for mothers to feel overwhelmed, especially by their family and then their duties that they have to do. And because being a mother is a 24 hours job. I also hear you saying that you mentioned that you want to gain your independence back. Do you remember when's the last time you felt like you had that independence?
I think it was just really, I guess, like fully independent was, I guess, before the kids
Mhm.
were born, and I was going to school before, so that's why I'm saying like I would like to go back because that's where I feel that like I guess I just feel like a sense of like accomplishment, like I'm actually doing something for myself. So I would probably say like sometime like before the kids and stuff. And
Okay. Well, Laura, I want to say thank you for sharing. Just want to restate what you said, that you wish that you can go back to school just how you were when you were single, because that's when you felt that you were more accomplished. I also want to invite Des into the situation. Des, so hearing what Laura has expressed, would you agree with what she is saying?
Absolutely not. I think that her role in this family and in this household is for her to be a mother and be a housewife. And the only way for her to do that is what she's doing now. And that's what's best for her. And so her even bringing up this conversation is, very upsetting. And it's so irritating because I don't even know then what she's showing our kids. This whole idea of power and trying to get that back, I just think it's kind of silly. And she should keep the education and working part up to me, because that's what I do best, and she needs to know her role in this household.
Okay, so you're mentioning roles in a household. So can you elaborate a little bit more on that? Because it seems a little divided. I just want a little bit of clarification.
Yeah, so her roles include being at the house, you know, preparing my lunches for the day before in the mornings, or I'm sorry, preparing my lunches in the mornings before I go to work, because I get up really early. I have a tiring job, and when she prepares my lunch, then she has to get up and take care of the kids, make sure that they're fed and ready for school. Once the kids are off, then she needs to clean the house. She has her list of chores that she needs to be doing every day. And yeah, that's pretty much what her role consists of.
So what I'm hearing you say is that you're associating her role with doing house chores and roles such as being a mother. So you can correct me if I'm wrong. So do you believe that a woman should be home with the kids?
Yeah, that's how it was for me and my family growing up, and it should be the same for my wife and my kids. I don't want Adriana or Adrian growing up thinking that he can gain power just by going to school. Like Laura's powers are to be caring and nurturing mother and wife at the house, and that's the only place for her. I don't see another place for her outside of that.
Okay. So I hear where you're coming from. You already have an expectation of what a wife and a mother should be and should be doing. I also think it's important at this time to point out certain gender role messages, just how you were mentioning earlier, Des, how a woman being a housewife and only mothers, that type of statement supports the idea that a woman is only used for housekeeping and a procreation. What do you think about that, Des?
Yeah, I mean, I don't see anything wrong with that. Like, that's how society has told her to live, and she needs to live by those societal expectations, especially from the culture that we come from. I embrace a lot of the machismo, and I'm the one that says of what happens in this house, and she shouldn't have a say in what happens, and that's it. And she knew what she was getting herself into when she married me, so that's just how I see it.
So what I'm hearing you say is that you come from a background of valuing men being the workers and women doing the women duties. I do want to find a middle ground where we can all be satisfied. But before we move on to that, I also do want to invite Adrian into the conversation, since know I know that she's been being affected by the situation. So Adrian, could you please share with us what you have noticed about your parents regarding the situation?
Yeah, so I have noticed that my father is pretty much really controlling of just everything that happens here in the household. It's just something that has been in the family the whole time since I was born. I can't think of a time where it's been any different. It's just the way that I was raised. It's my dad goes to work every morning, and my mom, like, without a doubt, has breakfast done for all of us.
Yes.
We always get to school on time because she's always there dropping us off. And then once we get home, there's like a full cooked meal. There's always a meal done. Cleaning, without a doubt, our house is always super pristine and nice. And to be honest with you, when it comes to like family, even just asking my mom for like money for school, from anything for like sports that I do, we always have to run it by my dad, and it's always like his word at the end. So I feel like that's kind of like another area where I see the power control with my dad rather than with my mom.
So what I'm hearing you say is that in a sense your father kind of controls the house and finances and anything kind of relating to making big decisions. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, definitely, because like I said, everything has to be ran by him. Like, there's never a time where my mom doesn't say like, oh yeah, I'll let you know after I speak to your dad about it, and things like that. So it's never just a matter of me going to my mom for something. It always has to be ran by my dad first.
Okay. Well, I do want to thank everybody for coming in today and being vulnerable. I understand that talking about situations like this can be upsetting. I do want to remind everyone that our goal here is that to remind everybody that we all have power over our lives. I do understand that society has influenced others into believing that men and women each have roles that they need to fulfill because of their gender, but I want to encourage all of you to break those ideologies by using different techniques, and with those techniques we can support and enhance our power that can help each of us grow and develop. So before we all leave the session today, I do want to assign some homework for each of you. I want you, the parents, Laura, Des, to practice sharing power. For instance, maybe this upcoming week, Laura, you can take control of making a family decisions to possibly help you gain that independence back. And then I also want Des, I want to assign some readings to you that can open your mind up to gender roles and how they have changed over the years. And then Adriana, I also want you to kind of stay up on your parents and kind of encourage them to continue doing the duties and the homework that I've assigned today. So if we all have an understanding today, are we all understanding the rules or the assignments that I have been assigning to everybody? In that
Yes.
case, then we can call
Yes.
this session done, and then when we come back together again, we can review our progress again.